So we are back and we are reorganizing my entire studio, and I figured this is probably a really good time to do an update. A lot of you guys have asked for one. There were some questions that lingered from the last video that I posted when I moved into this space. And really, I've been here. I moved in November 2021 and it's July 7, 6 plus 2, 8 months. So I've been here 8 months, and really a lot of this is just things that I figured out once I started working, and I created, I think, 30 pieces since I've been here, and I just really needed to reorganize some things. Biggest thing I wanted to do was hang up these pegboards you see me hanging right now, and I'll link everything in the description. But these are just 24 by 48 pegboards from Home Depot. They're like 16 bucks a piece, and I hung them with just open S chain hooks. I'll link those too, because the side of this wall you see has these ridges and there's these open spaces that work really nicely to just plop those on top. Right now you're seeing me put some baskets on. So when you go to any hardware store, there's a whole section of just like pegboard accessories. These get used in garages and hardware stores and other craft shops. You've probably seen them in actual stores that you've walked into. It's really easy to find accessories. It just is a matter of what are you trying to do and what makes the most sense. For me, I very much so am still figuring this out. So I just got a few things to start because I knew I wanted a place for all of my like spray paint, my finishes, like lacquers and varnishes, and like I use fixatives sometimes for some more touchy materials. I wanted to hang up my power tools, which I only ended up getting a hook for the drill that day because they were sold out of some of the other ones I wanted. And there's a couple that I'll have that you'll see me putting up right now that are for like pliers and wrenches. And really, I had to do this because I've been traveling a lot for art the last few months, and the studio kind of just turned into a dumping ground. I was in Brooklyn and Chicago, and I had a couple of shows with galleries in Dallas. I did a fair in Dallas, and a lot of these tools and screws and drill bits, and they just been between bag and bag on some planes, and I had to get them back into a place that made more sense. And I'll get into some fair recaps in my next couple of videos just so you guys can see that if you're interested. But I've seen these pegboards get used a bunch of different places. A lot of painters use them for hanging up all their different paint tubes. You see that a lot in like art specialty stores. I don't know what everyone watching this does with this information, but it is something that you'll see in specialty stores. It's a really cheap, easy way. I got a combo pack of these pegboard hooks, and it was like $7 for 40 something hooks of all different kinds. I only got one combo pack because I wasn't 100% sure where I was going with this. I do need more. And I'll probably go back and buy some specific ones. There's smaller packs that are like a pack of 4 J hooks, a pack of 4 like straight hooks. There's a couple of different options. So the other thing I wanted to do today when I was cleaning up this studio was move these shelves from one side to the other. And this had a lot of different reasons. It was primarily because that workbench you see, I move that into the middle of the studio all the time to work on things, rotate it almost like a turntable, but it's 10 times bigger, so it's really nice. And where I had these shelves, I was personally running into the shelves because I was leaving too narrow of a space in the middle of the studio. So a lot of what you're going to see at the end here is that there's way more space. A lot of my boxes were empty. I'm putting up these plants right now. This is kind of the point where studio is getting back to how I want it to look. That table I just moved, when I put up those plants, I move it. So I was bumping into those shelves. And I'll link what those are, but they're really just 8 by 8 by 8 half cinder blocks and 12 by 48 wood planks. Here, this giant box that was taking up the most space is actually a mannequin. One of my friends works for the Dallas Contemporary Museum, and they had an exhibit, and they were getting rid of a bunch of brand new, unused fashion mannequins, and I actually have been wanting one to do some casting and sculpting and molding with. So I was super excited to put it together. I just kept putting it off because I needed to reorganize the whole studio to have space for it. And my phone is going to die right about now, but that's the last thing I did. And then I'll kind of just do a walkthrough with what the studio ended up looking like when I got through reorganizing everything. So we have the shelves, we've got the pegboard Then I've just got my workbench and my plants over here hung up into the ceiling. Those are sketches for an exhibition I'm working on, a mirror, and this mannequin, and that's the end.